The purpose of life. I think in our life, the most profound question we have is what our purpose of existence is. Technically speaking, nothing should exist. And if something does not exist, then nobody can ask the question why something does not exist. But if something does exist, then the question arises, what is the objectivity of this existence? So either our life has a purpose or it does not have a purpose. In the first case, it has a purpose. In the second case, it does not have a purpose. If it does not have a purpose, then any process without an objectivity and having no purpose behind does not make any sense. When anything not making any sense, we call it nonsense. So first thing we have to conclude, that if this process of our life and our death and our existence on this earth, if it is without any purpose, if it's just a random exercise of utility that we just exist right now, then this existence is without a purpose, and consequently our lives have no meanings. And it means that it is complete. We are only engaging here in a complete nonsense activity. So that's the first point I'm trying to make basically. Yes. Yeah. So if we conclude, that life has no objectivity, then we have also concluded that this process of life and death and our existence has no objectivity. And in that case, we have concluded that our lives are complete nonsense activities. So this may not be the case. So let's go to the other conclusion, that life has an objectivity. So if the life has an objectivity, then it has an agenda behind it. And if we become aware of the agenda behind it, then we will understand what this is all about. But to understand what is the agenda behind it, we have to think outside the box. And as most of the people are caught up in the worldly arena in which they are only thinking and engaged in activities to try to solve the problems we are confronting with, basically, they are unable to think outside the box. They are unable to ask very critical questions, like, why do we exist? Because none of us is choosing to become alive. None of us is choosing to come into existence. None of us is choosing to become human, and the dog is not choosing to become a dog, and cat is not choosing to become a cat. So we are all being transformed into the shapes we have and the natures given to the particular species. So let's analyze the nature of a human. So before we address the nature of a human, let's ask the question to a human, that why is he a human? So when you ask this question to a human, why is he a human? The human says, and he claims that he is a human, but does not have the answer to why is he a human. So it means that he is unable to substantiate his claim of being a human. So indirectly what he's saying basically, that his claim is a false claim. What is he claiming about? He has no understanding of, basically. This is the first part of the dilemma we are in, that we are unable to understand why are we what we are. And to understand why are we a human, we have to look at the design of a human. The design of a human is choice-based design. Humans are the only species on the planet Earth which can choose to lie or tell the truth, become humble, become arrogant, become selfish, become selfless, become thinking or be non-thinking. So with this in context, the human design becomes choice-based design, and the animal design is based on their instincts. So if you go to near a snake, it's going to bite you irrespective of you go there or somebody else goes there. So humans are the only species which have the design in which is choice based. One of the choice we have here basically is to think on the subject we are thinking right now and or ignore it. So some people say this is just a random activity on this planet. We are a product of some evolutionary system basically, yes. But they have already believed in that process basically, yes, without verifiable proofs regarding it. And they are not critically thinking that there may be some other reason of their existence. So in that context, they have made the decision that this activity of life on the earth has none of the objectivity behind it. So they have already decided that this is complete nonsense activity, what they are going through, because it doesn't have an objectivity behind it. But that has made their own brains, right, engaged in nonsense. So I was explaining basically that this is what we are going through has an agenda behind it. Has a serious agenda behind this, and this life we are living is not by our own accord that we are becoming alive. So we are extremely complicated creatures in terms of technology involved to produce anything living on this earth. It only appears on the outside that they are simple things: bird flying, a fly flying, a human walking, a dog barking. All these things look apparently simple, but inherently they are extremely complicated machines. And what it appears like basically that they are two perfectly engineered machines, and they are not a product of a random activity of any kind. So the technology involved to produce these machines, we already know that it is now DNA software based programs. And DNA means the software programs, and the software programs means intelligence involved to produce these things. A program cannot engineer itself, nor the DNA program can build its own self. And thinking it has built its own self is not logical. So as we analyze this technology, we realize that all living things are based on this DNA based technology. And the whole of the human being, all the design, all the piping, all the networking, all the nerves, all the cells, the program to produce them and to connect them are stored in two tiny containers, one sperm and one egg. So when the egg is penetrated by the sperm, the program is activated and start building a human. Same way start building a dog, and same way start building a mouse. So these are basically canned programs, each one individual and complete, and each one intended for a certain objectivity. So one thing we must conclude basically, that this technology is not a human technology. We are not the ones inventing this technology for our own selves, nor creating ourselves. Because if all the people in the world come together with all the scientific knowledge they possess and all the money and the resources they have, and if they have one project is to create you, as you're watching this video, is to create you in the form you are right now, they will fail. And they will not even think on the endeavor to think like it, that they can produce something like you. And if you do die here, and if the whole people in the world come together to bring you back to life, they will not be able to do it. They even cannot think that they can bring you back to life. So similarly, a tree which produces apples, oranges, is stored where? Is stored in the DNA program in the seed. So whole of the tree is actually in the seed. But the seed is not deciding itself to grow and becoming an orange tree or an apple tree and to grow apples and oranges on it. And so basically is a sperm which is moving and swimming, and moving towards the destination, does not know where to go and does not know itself that what is the end objectivity of me penetrating in the egg. It is programmed to swim, programmed to go, programmed to penetrate, and does not know that it's going to produce a functional human being. The sperm has never entered the female body before. Could be a human sperm or could be a dog sperm, but they know exactly to swim and go where, and to know exactly when this is penetrated, what is being produced as a consequence of that. Basically, yes, the knowledge that it will produce a human or dog is not with the sperm or not with the egg, but they're programmed to get to the destination. So this is quite a sophisticated technology which is in play, which only appears simplistically from the outside. So everything in the world appears from outside very simple, but inside of everything looking simple is extremely complicated. And the complexity is so immense that humans will not be able to dare create something like them. And they understand basically that it is beyond their capability to produce even a functional fly and make it fly. And that is, who says that, are the ones who have knowledge, means those who are the scientists, and they have observed this technology and looked into it and understand basically that this is way too complicated for human beings to really manufacture themselves. So whose technology is this, and who is investing this kind of technology to produce us here? Because this looks like too perfect and doesn't look like that. This looks like a chance-based activity. So let's ask this question. Our existence is based on the bodies we possess right now. So how did we acquire these bodies? Did we make our own selves? The answer is no. So why would somebody else make these bodies for us? And then ask the question, who really made the body? Our physical reality based on which we define our existence. So we have to go back to our own parents, and ask them. And if we ask them, look, have you made me? So if they truly understand, basically they will say no. Because if they say yes, then they become the manufacturer of our bodies. And manufacture means that they have designed it, put it together, and they have the know-how to build it and the know-how to fix it. In that case, the mother took the child to a doctor. So why do you need to go to a doctor then? Why don't you fix the child yourself? And then the next problem comes, if mother has made the child, then she designed the child to die one day. So from that perspective, she become the maker or the manufacturer or the giver of life to the child, and she herself become the executioner of the child. So it means apparently what it looks like that we are acquiring these bodies from our parents. That is absolutely not true. Somebody is creating us, right, basically in the mother's womb, and they are not making these children ourselves. So let's examine the process. How did the male and female come together? So when we analyze the process, we understand, we call it mating. So we are a product of a process called, as we define, as mating, but is only an outward aspect. In reality, it is not mating. It is process of actually baiting. How this is baiting? Baiting is a luring in mechanism. If you want to catch a fish, you put a bait on, and then the fish comes, and you catch, and the hook behind is, and which catches a fish, and the fish does not know there's a hook behind it. So when a male and female come together, they are coming in to get the pleasure, which is called the orgasm, involved in it. But the real objectivity is not the pleasure. The real objectivity is to launch me and you over here. This is not the unintended consequence of the mating process. This is the intended objectivity of the mating process, is to creativity of more of us on this planet. So let's examine the situation with the male. In the case of the male, a human male will acquire only one orgasm. At what point he ejaculates. In the case of female, she can have more than one orgasm, but her egg is not depending on the orgasm. So in the case the female egg is dependent on the orgasm basically, then one orgasm was enough. But in the case of the male, if the male acquires orgasm without ejaculating, then we will cease to exist. So this is a completely engineered process and completely thought out process how to make us reproduce with our urges which we are trying to fulfill. But the objectivity behind the urges we have basically is something far more profound, and that is why we are existing right now. So from that analysis we can conclude basically that the one who is behind all this, right, yes, is designing this product, a human product, that it will multiply, but it has also the ability to think and ponder on its own self, or why it is able to multiply. A dog does not know when he's mating, right, yes, that more dogs will be produced. But a human knows when he's mating, that more children could be produced in this process. And that knowledge is only given to the humans, So our awareness, right, is far more greater than the awareness of animals. Profoundly, we are the only species which are aware of our own selves. So it's called self-awareness. Animals are not aware of their own selves. So when I'm talking to you, myself is talking to yourself. It's called self-awareness. They don't have it, we have it. Right, yes. We are the only species which are aware of our impending death. No other species on the earth knows that one day they will die. Only humans are aware of what is called relative time, that slowly and progressively one day they will die. So it means that we are already aware of our impending situation, of our doom. But humans are not thinking that why we have been made aware of the fact of our own demise, and the animals are not made aware that one day they will die. So animals are aware of a imminent danger to their lives to protect themselves, but they are not aware that their lifespans are 15 years for a dog or 36 years for a chimpanzee. So humans are already aware that we have an approximate lifespan of our time frame on this planet, and that awareness is only given to the humans. So how did we get to know how old we are and why we are keeping a tab on the time? So when you ask a human being how old is he, every human being on the earth has an idea of how old he or she is. Now, how do we get to know as a human being how old we are? So when we analyze, we realize that is based on lunar calendar. The calendar basically is based on the moon and the changes of the shapes of the moon. From a thin moon to the full moon, it takes 28.6 days. That's how we got 1 month. And then in 12 lunar cycles, the change of season was completed from hot to cold, from winter to summer. And that gave us an idea of 1 year. We didn't know basically that the earth is rotating one completion around the sun. We had no idea. But the idea we got was basically that the seasons have completed in 12 lunar cycles. So it means if you take the moon out of the equation, then we will not be able to know anything called time. We will be knowing just like the animals know day and night, or the seasons which they go through basically. And then we will not keep a tab on time. So why make us aware of time in that context basically, and to know our ages? The idea behind basically is that we have to know that we have a limitation of time. That's why we made aware of our impending death. So if we are aware of our impending time, of our impending death, basically in this process which we're going through, life and death, we are counting a number. This number we are counting from 1, 2, 3, 4 and keeps moving forward is basically our death count. It's not our birth count. For every step on the way, we are getting closer to our death. A lot of people celebrate their birthdays, but they don't realize they are not celebrating their birthday, they're celebrating their doomsday. They're celebrating the process in which they'll be taken out. They will die here. And they're celebrating without understanding and have awareness about it. But that's a state of humanity, right? Yes, they're told that this is their birthday, but technically speaking, it's not their birthday because the baby is already alive in the mother's womb. So it does not matter. It's not really the baby is becoming alive at a certain point when the baby comes out. Baby is already there. So it is not really our birthday. Our birth point is the point of conception, which is when the sperm enters the egg. So in technical terms, we have to add 9 more months to our time frame of lives. And this idea of our birth is just a relative time we keep, basically just to keep a tab on the time. Otherwise, the day they call it our birthday is not truly our birthday. And all life long people keep cutting the cakes and not even thinking about it, basically, that why they are cutting this cake, like this something to celebrate, right? Yes, losing time, getting closer to the grave and celebrating on the way. But that is the reason, right? Yes, these human beings are not aware of what truly is going on here. So let's see what could be the objectivity of this process of our life and our death. What is the agenda behind it? What is to be obtained out of the process? Right, yes, and let's examine that. So let's ask the question, basically, what is the motive behind all this? First of all, there are clues here to make us understand already what is the motive behind all this. And the primary clue basically is our design itself, choice based. So lying or telling the truth, become humble, become arrogant, become selfish, become selfless, become thinking or non-thinking, right? And then to help us out, there are signs given to us too. So signs given to us all around us and within us. But the signs will not become apparent to many people because they are not making the choice to think about it. So tree is making the apple and not eating himself. Tree does not know that you exist. Tree has not awareness of our existence, of anybody's existence. So we are aware of the tree. Tree is not made aware of us. So how could it produce an apple hanging, but hanging for whom? Right? So a bird can also eat the apple, but does not know why the apple tree is producing an apple. Does apple tree produce an apple by its own choice? That's not the case. It's part of the program, the DNA, which is making an apple hanging on it. So we are the only species which can observe this phenomenon and see it as a sign that somebody is indirectly feeding us here. Rice plant producing rice, wheat plant producing wheat. None of them need those wheat and rice for their own selves. Sugarcane producing sugar. So it means this is a source of food for us, which has been given to us indirectly. So everything around us is a sign, and things are within us, which is a sign. But not everybody is able to see the signs, and I'll tell you the reason why. So I'll give an example to you why it is the case. So I'll give you an example that there's a plane at 30,000 feet. It has 4 engines, and suddenly all 4 engines shut down at 30,000 feet. The one who's aware of the shutdown of the engines is the pilot. The people in the plane basically are completely unaware that the engines have shut down. Some of them are basically chit-chatting, some are watching movies, some are playing games, children basically, yes. And they're feeling quite comfortable in the environment of the plane, not knowing the plane is actually going down. But there are few people in the plane who are actually observing and looking outside the window, and they are seeing that the land is drawing very near very fast. So in this example, the plane is crashing, people are not aware it's crashing, they're feeling comfortable till the time plane hit the ground, except those who are looking outside the window. These people looking outside the window are the ones who can think outside the box. The rest are boxed up in the plane. What is distracting them is the activities in the plane. And that's what an example of human life is. There are a lot of distractions here which will distract us from the prime objectivity of this creativity of our lives. And as few are able to think outside the box and look outside the window, majority will not understand why they are on a board a plane which is crashing. So look at your life. You are dying, right? Yes. You know you are dying every second, getting closer to your death. So your plane is going down. But who has given you a dying body? Why create a body and give it to you which will die after some time? What is the agenda in your creativity of making you alive and then kill you at the end? Why execute you over here? Yes. So some people say it's called a circle of life, but that's a very simplistic answer. It's just not a circle of life. It has far-reaching implications, right, and is far more depth in it. But majority will not understand it because majority are not going to think outside the box. They are so boxed up in this world, and majority will not be able to look at the signs. So look at me. My beard has gone white. My hair has turned white. So if you have a dog which is a black dog, 15 years of age, reaches end point, does not have his facial hair turn white and his head hair turn white. So what is the reason that a human hair will turn white and animal's hair will not turn white? And the reason is because humans have to understand science. What is being given to us is science-based testing. The reason the hair turn white is same thing on the road. You have when you're going on the road, you have green light, then you have yellow light, then you have red light. The green is to go and the red is to stop. Yellow is a warning light. So the white hair is primarily the warning light lit on our faces. So these white hairs basically on the face, on the beard and on the head basically is like a warning light lit, right? And a warning light lit to tell us something, to give us a warning before the red light comes on and this body shuts down. So what I'm going to conclude basically by the design of this machine, that human beings are a product being examined and tested. And this earth we are walking on is a platform created to test us as a product. We are coming here batch by batch for our batch and batch by batch interaction. Through our interaction and through our engagement in this world and the choices we're going to make basically is our examination. It's a two-part examination. First thing, you have to understand who is testing you. If you go wrong there, then you fail the examination. And number two thing you have to understand, right, yes, that what is the reason you're being tested. If you don't understand the reason you're being tested, you fail on that. So let's look at the part one situation. Who is examining us? To know who is examining us, there is no connectivity, there is no way you can reach directly. Means you can try to find out who has made this body, go to your parents. The parents can explain it to you who had really made this body for you. So if the parents can explain it to you who has made the body for you, it means direct connectivity through your parents is no accessibility available to the manufacturer to find out who is really making us. The other way to do it basically is to investigate in this world that who's behind all the creativity on this planet. And that option is available to us, right? To investigate the matter, to understand who is behind all this creativity on this planet, and who is behind putting us over here, and what is the agenda of the one who is doing all this activity of creativity and investing in technology to produce living things on this planet. And that's what the examination is. Some people will take, right, yes, sun as the creator, some will take moon as the creator, some will make the star as the creator, some will make the cow as the creator, and some will make other humans as the creators, right, yes. And that's how they all fail, because they will see something with their eyes and see that entity, or see something attribute to that entity, right, which is something seeing. So they fail in this examination. And then they really don't understand basically what is the objectivity of this examination anyway. Where is this, after all, the one who's examining us? The one who's examining us is not visible, right? It just give an example to you, just like a teacher in a classroom. Then the teacher is not in the class. She put the cameras to watch the students in the class, put certain signs before the students. Some of the students basically will look at the sign and start pondering what is objectivity, and start to figure out what the signs are all for. And majority of the students basically will just chit chat. They think teacher is not in the classroom, let's have a good time. That's the bulk of humanity. They just want some good time here. They are not serious about the subject matter. They are non-serious students here. So the teacher is outside the classroom with a camera observing the students inside the class. The non-serious students are thinking that now they can have a good time. And some are thinking they are in the classroom so they can have a good time. And that's what humans are here. They are thinking that life has been given to them so they can achieve something with their lives in terms of some good time activity on this planet. Many have set objectivity of making money, getting grades, getting high ranks. They have set their objectivity on this world that somehow they have to achieve high ranking in this world, and to devote this world, and to conquer this world, and to attain this world. But they'll all fail. There are billions and billions of people who had the same objectivity before them, and they've all disappeared. And the land is still the same, and people keep claiming this is my land, and then getting buried in the same land. And the next guy comes, he says my land, and get buried in the same land. So it means humans are chasing something which is actually designed as an illusion, and soon they get deluded with that illusion in their minds, and they set that as a goal of their lives. And that's how of the condition the students are in the classroom. These are non-serious students. They are not really critically thinking why they're in the classroom anyway. Some of the students who are examining the signs now, thinking why they are in the classroom, what these signs are all about. These are the students which the teacher is going to help them understand what the signs are all. And it is they who are going to pass the examination, because they are serious students. Another example to you, and there's a farm and there are cows in the farm. The farmer feeds the cows every day, and the cows, when they eat the food and they get the water and see the farmer coming, they become more happy. But they don't know the agenda of why they're being kept in the farm. The farmer is ready to slaughter them, right, by making them fatter. And they're busy eating the food, not thinking they're soon going to be slaughtered. If they become aware they're going to be slaughtered, will they eat their food, or they will have enthusiasm for the food? They will have none. The humans get to know that all they're chasing basically, which is an illusion, right? That what is the end consequence of this illusion? They will not chase it, but they're actually like the cows. If you replace the cow with humans in the farm, some of the humans will say, well, why is the rain coming automatically? How do clouds know where to go? And some of us will say, well, why is the tree making the apple? And the rest will say, well, who cares? So these two groups which are in the farm now, one group, right, says, who cares why is the clouds are coming? Who cares about the tree making an apple? Who cares why are we in this farm anyway? Just have a good time, make the best of it. Who cares why the farmer feeds us, Just have a great time here, enjoy yourself, enjoy the food, water, and your life in this farm. Others are saying, look, it doesn't make any sense. What is the agenda of the farmer? Why are we being fed here? Now, these are the humans in the flock. Rest are actually cows who look like humans here. The objectivity of this process which we're going through, life and death, is to separate the two groups of people. One who are actually humans, right, but their mentality is cow mentality. They're in a state of the cattle state. They're not critically going to think anything. And the other group, basically, who can think critically, have a chance of becoming human. So the one who's examining us is examining us on the subject matter. If you're going to take some statues, pictures, idols as our creator, we fail on the first part. And then second part of the test was understanding what is objectivity behind it, why. If that is understood, basically, the why is the idea that you have been given a body free of charge. No money has been taken from you in regard to this body given to you. So if somebody gives you something free without any charges, so if a person has some decency in him, will have a response of gratitude, of thankfulness. And that is what is being gauged from us. Do we have some sincerity in us? Do we have some gratitude in our hearts? Right? Or are we ungrateful creatures who will use this body thinking it is for our own benefit to have a good time here? And at the end, as a consequence of that, we're going to lose, right? Yes, our eternity. Just gain here for a short time and then lose for eternity. So let me tell you about another sign. Right. In our creativity, we are in the mother's womb. In the mother's womb, the child brain is unable to ask questions, is not mature. Then it can ask the question, why I'm in the womb? What is really happening here? Child at one point can listen to sounds outside, but it does not understand what is happening outside. There's a world outside. And when the child has been pushed outside, basically, does not know where is he going. So he has not been given the ability to think at that point. And the child is pushed out, does not know where he has come. So in this way, we are produced on this planet in a very subtle manner, that we even don't know where we have come. But imagine if you have the same ability of thought process as you have right now, and you're in the mother's womb, you will be first thinking, where am I? What's happening around me? And I have an opening of this mouth, and whether I'm going to eat something from it, or I'm going to talk something from it. You have no idea. So you have no idea there's a world outside. You think the world you are in is the only world before you're pushed out. And same is the situation when he comes out. When he comes out, a man thinks, oh, this is the only world it is in. And realize when the death comes, then he's pushed into the next world. So he goes from one world to the next world to the next world. In the first entry into this world, none of us knew what are we here for. But when we enter the next world, then if you don't know what we were here for already, then you fail. Then you don't understand what you're here for already. And that is what the failure is. And that's what the examination is all about. Right? This time allocated to us from the time of birth to the time of our death, right, as a hallmark of examination in it. We keep counting in the examination the number of hours we are in the examination as we in the school, and we keep counting our age as part of our examination here on this earth, and everything what we do is being recorded. Every thought is being recorded, because every action is by the intention. So the intention behind the action is recorded with it. And then when the examination is over, we die. And then the result comes for this examination which we have gone through. Many have become alive not knowing why we have become alive. And many will die without knowing why they died. Because the reason, if people don't know why they are dying, they also don't know why they are alive. So people have the fear of death. Why do they fear death? They fear death because they have no idea about this examination. Right? Death is a termination of all their pleasures of this world. This is all what they knew. That's the only world they knew. So, and they are fearful of the unknown territory, which is uncharted waters for them when they're dead. They thought they're losing everything what they had, because all they had done was to set the objectivity of acquiring this world. And when this world reach the world, and when they reach the termination point in this world, they're terrified of their severance of this ties with this world, because they had made this world as their god, and they are losing this world behind, and they're terrified of the loss they have to incur. And that is a losing situation for the humans, and that's why they have been made aware of their impending death, so that this awareness will all the time bother them. Those who don't understand, it's like a torture for them, that they have to live this life knowing they're going to die and lose everything behind. But they're so busy in it, so distracted, they don't even think about they're going to die, till the time they will drop dead here and they will realize what a sorry state they were in. This opportunity of becoming alive is a very rare and a profound opportunity given to us only one time. The people who came before us, billions and billions have come and gone. They became alive in their respective time and in their respective situations. And they all completed their time here, which was allocated to them, and they have left. Where did they come from and where they have gone? Where we have come from and where are we going? So these are the questions which are human questions, which a human being, if he claims to be a human being, must think about. But if he does not think, then the chances are that he will not become a human here. So he may look like a human, but never achieve the true potential of what this brain has been given to us. Most people will not think, what it takes to build a machine like us, and how much and what kind of investment of technology and processes which have been done just to get to this creativity at this stage. So now we know the universe did not exist, and the starting point was a big bang. So it means the design parameters of creating a human was already in that bang, because what came out of the bang was living things on this planet. So this planning activity to create us here is part of what the bang is. And now with the modern advancement in science, we have found out that we have a lot of constants, like gravitational constant, right, which have their own values. There are more than 10, 12 of them, and they're all when we found out that they're all fixed to the level, to the tweet level, right? And any changes in those values will not make us will make us cease to exist, just like gravity. If the gravity value changes very minutely, right, we will not be in existence, because the whole interplanetary system will be disrupted, because gravity is giving us our weight here, and if the gravity force increases, our weight will increase, it will crush us. And if it decreases, then we'll be floating in the air. Then they found out what is called cosmological constant. If we check out cosmological constant, this value of this is so precisely fine-tuned that without this very fine-tuned value, the universe will not exist and we will not exist in it. So somebody thinking that all this process has been done and they have no objectivity is not basically a right approach. The bodies we have right now are made of two materials. They contain 70% water and about 30-35% dirt. But where did the dirt come from? Dirt contains what is in this body is calcium, magnesium, iron, all the heavy metals. We have found out, came from the explosion of the stars. So basically what we see the dirt underground is stardust. But to create the stardust, right here, the stars had to be formed. And to have the stars formed, you have to have hydrogen gases. And then they have certain gravitational forces pulling them together, these gases, to ignite and create fusion reaction in them. So when you think on the creativity point, our life in existence basically to create this tremendous level of effort and processes have been created and done. Just for that I can talk and you can listen what I'm saying basically. So if we don't understand the motive behind all this, then we will not give no weightage and no value of all the processes which has been done to get us in existence at this stage of life. And in consequence, as we will not understand it in the right context, we will lose, and we will lose big time, because man is thinking he has only 60, 70, 80 years of life here and I should enjoy this life. He doesn't realize that this project of creativity is going on for almost 13.7 billion years, and it may continue for a very long time, right? Yes. And the chances are that this life we are living, 70, 80, is just a very short segment in our true life, which may comprise of a time when there is nothing called time will exist. Here it is time based, but if you will not value the time given to us, which is very brief and short time, then we will losing on eternal level. So what I will recommend basically, that if you don't want to waste this opportunity given to you, then you must start thinking critically and start asking very basic fundamental questions, and do your necessary effort to find out what is true over here. Because if this knowledge that why do we exist is not on this earth, then we have no blame on us. But if this knowledge that why are we on this planet is on this planet, and we don't care to check it out or don't seek it or search for it, then we will become blameworthy at the end. So what I would recommend is that whatever input I have given basically, which may be of some benefit to somebody, but only those people who will benefit, those who are ready to think. Those who are not ready to think will get no benefit, because they have made that choice for their lives, and as they have made that choice, that their lives, what they are living basically, will be just life of an animal who just eat, excretes, reproduces and dies. Doesn't know why he's an animal and why did he die at the end. Human doesn't know why he's a human and will die without knowing why he actually died at the end. We all came to the world without knowing why we came to the world. Please check it out before you leave this world, that why were you in this world on the first place.